up on the screen here. So this is what I am reading from your vast catalog right now, and I'll share screen here. And this is what I'm on right now. I've plenty of experience with your past works, though. Tenebrion, is that the correct pronunciation?
Yes, it is. Well done.
Okay, so I'm not as far in it as I would like to be because of all the shit going on here at home this week, but. So basically, there is a film festival where people are encouraged to submit short films to it.
Yeah.
And these people are filming and participating in a black mass in an abandoned elementary school.
Yeah, pretty much it. Yeah.
That's the long of it so far as the beginning. Is this your most current book?
It is. It's a couple of years old. I'm working on a few things at the moment, but kind of got sidetracked with one thing and another. But what I would say is again, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the whole short film thing. I mean, I was involved in the Houston film community for a few years, and every now and then, various fractions would come up with these 48-hour film competitions. Well, I did a few myself, and you had to write, film, edit, and produce, and hand in a movie. It was literally over a weekend. You had 48 hours to do it all. I mean, it's good fun, great fun. Most of the films were crap because you produce your fastest work, not your best work. Anybody want to check out my website? My efforts are on there. But that sort of gave me the background for Tenebrion. It gave me the. There you go. This is it's all visual. I'm quite excited about the whole thing. Mm-hmm. So that was the background, and the people. There's people there who are based on people I met and got to know in the film community. People have read the book and said, none of the characters really likable. Had they spent any time in the Houston film community, they would understand that, because they're not a likable bunch, to be honest.
So you're a screenwriter as well. I wasn't aware of this. You did a Bob Marley biopic?
I did, yeah. I was commissioned from Spectra Records, not Phil Spector, Spectra, which is, I think, the largest independent record label in the country. I believe it was at the time.
Cool.
There you go. Speak says there.
Huh?
Yeah, I say there. That the last I heard, they were still A, getting funding together, and B, going through the mill with the Bob Marley estate.
So it's not even released yet. No one.
Oh Christ, no. These things take years. I mean, that's why I sort of steered away from screenwriting, because you write it, and then even if it gets taken on, it can then take years and years and years and years before actually anything happens, and you've got a bit.
It reminds me of the joke Patton Oswalt made in one of his stand-up routines. He says something like, "I've sold 4 screenplays to studios. None of them are ever getting made."
Yeah, that's about right. But as long as you get paid, as long as you get paid up front, it's not too bad. But I sort of moved towards short stories, novels, then sort of got involved with ghostwriting, which is what takes up a lot of my time now, which is great because I get paid for writing other people's stuff.
Right. What do you find more rewarding, writing or screenwriting?
I mean, writing is writing for me, it's just a different format. I guess, writing books is more rewarding because it's a quicker turnaround.
Mm.
That makes sense?
Oh, sure. Gregor, one of our own, Gregor, had to step away for a few minutes, so hopefully he'll be back, and he may have questions of his own, but I remember reading The Erotic Odyssey of Colton Forche.
Mm-hmm.
And this was before I knew anything about you, but I remember not being very impressed with it, and then going and reading Buds like a year or two later, and being blown away by it, and thinking and learning later that they were by the same author, and it's like, no, that can't be. How's that possible? Can you explain how that can be? That how can that be that you could write something as vulgar and like unrestrained and wild as the erotic odyssey of Colton Forshey, that I feel really where just weird stuff kind of happens with no rhyme or reason? And I don't mean that to insult you. It's just, also it's subjective, tastes. But and then I read Buds a few years later, and while it has, a lot of sexuality to it and violence and, people covered in pus-ridden sores from all their, behavior and everything. But I mean, this one just works better for me than Colton Forshey did, because I don't know. It just seems like you covered all your bases with this book. And this was actually my number one read about 3 years ago. At the end of the year, I said that this was my favorite read of the year, Buds.
Oh, thank God, please. I mean, it's difficult to explain. I mean, Colton was my first foray into Bizarro, and I have to say, with Colton, I mean, I have a fondness for Colton, actually. Colton Forshey was, to date, the only one of my 9 books that I wrote without planning out. I started with the opening line sort of came to me, and it all sort of came from that. The idea was to create a sort of a nightmarish feel, a sort of almost like if Monty Python wrote horror, that sort of thing. So it was pretty off the wall. There's some randomness in there. I wanted to be extreme. So there's a lot of things going on there. Buds was more structured. Buds has a more, linear story. And obviously has a neat little sci-fi too. I will also say as well, obviously you're looking at the ones on my website, which it sadly needs updating actually. All of my books, we've now brought them all within Hellbound Books, which is my publishing company. They've all been re-edited, rejigged, and they've all got brand new covers, which will all be released shortly. So yeah, I mean, but Buds was great. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed Buds. But I think because Colton was my first, I'm going to always have a fondness in my heart for Colton. I've had a lot of people asking when the sequel's coming out, and there are no plans for that right now.
For Colton?
Yeah, for Colton, yeah.
See, I think that you left things, open a bit with Buds. I think, I don't know. I think that the guy still has a chance to reverse the problem that he's left with at the end of the book. I mean, there's enough room for that he could trick his, the people who are at the center of his problems at the end of that book. I mean, I think that he could still find a way around them since they need him.
He could, yeah. I mean, he's a talented inventor at the end of the day. So
why don't you explain a little bit more about Buds, the concept, and what we're talking about? Like, he invents a small little gadget that allows him to travel just a few seconds back in time.
The idea is he's been working on time travel, and he cracks it, and he actually creates a time travel machine in a fleshlight sex toy, because why not? And the idea, obviously, he's disappointed to realize that he can only jump a fraction of a second back in time. But what he finds is that fraction of a second in backwards is a parallel universe or an alternate reality populated by human-like beings that reproduce by budding, hence the title. So that they reproduce asexually, much like a lot of sort of primitive animals do. So they'll just like create a bud will happen, they'll appear on their back, and then just develop into a whole new person. That's pretty much it. I mean, yeah, it's sexy, it's violent. I mean, again, it was sort of half Bizarro, half mainstream.
It's body horror. Can't forget body horror. I mean,
it is body. Yes, very much body horror. Yeah. And I've always
one of them sympathetic. You make one of the Bud people sympathetic, in a way that it's a catalyst for moving things forward near the end, when one of them has a run in with law enforcement that knows no, personal restraint, let's just say, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's good. I mean, I like the book. I like the story. I like the time. I'm a big fan of time travel sort of stories. I'm very fascinated with the whole Siamese sort of conjoined twin phenomenon as well. I remember reading about is it Chan and Eng, the actual original Siamese twins, who I remember reading about them as a kid. Absolutely fascinated. These guys were joined, and they married, and they had children. And I, even to this day, would love to know how the hell that worked. There's no conjoined twin porn on Pornhub, which is somebody's missing opportunity there, to be honest.
Well, if you're asking how Siamese twins can reproduce with different people.
I get the physicality of it. It's the psychological. I mean, what does he do? He's humping his wife, and you just lay there, or do they have wonderful threesomes and foursomes, or which is again where the idea for Bud sort of formed. I think what a great sex free for all that could turn out to be.
From what I understand, because I've wondered that myself and looked into it, there was a Siamese twins, two women who were conjoined, and they one of them went on to marry, and the one who was not married to the guy, she would just read a book while stuff was going on with the other side of the body. Isn't that something? Isn't that crazy?
Well, I know there's the famous twins who joined at the head, the two girls. One is a singer, and the other does, I don't know, so she's a paralegal or something. So they have two totally different career paths. I mean, how do you do that? I was just like freaky. I mean, but yeah, the whole set just laying there just reading the book is that's funny. Actually, I like that.
Yeah,
I suppose when you grow up and you basically have to take a shit at the exact same time your sibling does, you kind of get used to it.
Wow, yeah.
Think about the guy though in that scenario. He. Yeah. I've got two twins here. This is my fantasy. This is, and then I would feel so let down. I'd be like, is she not going to join in? Is she going to do? No, she's reading a book. She's got her handwriting.
There's still kind of a threesome.
Come on, join in, will you? Well, no. I would feel shortchanged, to be honest with you. But again, I guess it was my sort of fascination, and obviously I'm not the only one that brought Buds about, because I explore the sexual possibilities of this this clump of people joined together, and it was interesting exercise. But I'm sorry you didn't like Colton. I'm sad to hear that.
But I loved Buds. Like I said, it was my number one book for 2018, 2019, something like that. And I'll still push it on anybody who will listen. So it joins a very elite class, which is the one. Flanagan is the one where the husband and wife are abducted by these really cruel people that put them through all sorts of like physical challenges, right? That involve sex.
Pretty much, yeah.
I haven't read it, but I've heard people say that that you may have gotten things wrong there, because once people get their eyelids cut off, they're not exactly, one for like calmly measured, discussion and negotiation, and they sure can't get it up after having been through such torture. So how
whoever told you that either didn't read the book or they're not very good at reading, to be honest.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. How would you perform if you don't get off on pain and you're being held against your will? How would one find a way, if it's like, either you get yourself worked up enough to perform, or you're going to die, or your husband's going to die. How would they rise to the occasion to perform with that kind of fear? It seems to me like they would just lose any ability to.
What I'm going to say is read the book, because it will spoil it if I explain it. Yeah, you're going to have to read the book. It's not, the eyelid thing was that was in the prologue. That was a couple who were actually dying, and they weren't doing anything. They were chained up in a field waiting to be killed. I take great pride in my in being biologically correct. I'm actually a biologist by education, so I know what's what where that is concerned. So I can assure you there's nothing in there that will be bad. I read a lot of books, and as soon as I remember, in fact, when I was watching a movie, I flicked a movie on a while ago, and the minute they started talking about finding, extracting DNA from red blood cells, I had to switch it off, because, no, ain't gonna happen, So yeah, I would read the book. If you want, I'll happily send you a copy. Read the book, and then we'll talk about Flanagan. Sure,
but. How has the reception been to Tenebrion, your latest, with the Ghost, in the short film festival and everything?
It's been very well received. I've had a lot of great reviews for it. I had some interest. Again, the film industry being what it is, I had some interest for. It's actually a British production company were interested in optioning it, but again, like I say, the fickleness of the film industry, that didn't happen. But he's had a revamp. It's got a new cover, and it's now under the umbrella of Hellbound books. So he hopefully will get a whole new lease of life. So yeah, it is one of my favorites. It's my newest one. It's good. I mean, of course, I'm going to say that, but it's got everything in there, and I kind of like the way that it. The school itself, the elementary school, it becomes its own character. It's as much a character as the people and the demon as well. So I was very proud of that achievement.
But do you ever have any plans to revisit the character Guidry in Buds and hit that real pickle that he's in at the end of that story? I mean,
at the moment, no. I have 2-3 novels on the go of my own. I mean, notwithstanding all my ghostwriting stuff, which just pay the bills. If I do get time, I would love to revisit Will Discovery, because he was a great guy. But it's a time thing at the moment.
So you did stand-up comedy as well?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't dream of putting you on the spot, but I mean, like, how much are we talking? Just like a weekend here or there, or did you actually hone your craft for years with it?
Well, I started on the scene over in England before I moved over here, and then sort of picked it up when I moved here. I mean, I sort of honed it, and I did a spot at the Improv once. Back in the day when Houston actually had a comedy scene, I think there's only one place open now. There's about 6 or 7 when I moved here. It was fun. It sort of scratched my creative itch, but I quickly sort of moved on from that to writing for other comedians, and I found I prefer that. I prefer being in the background, to be honest with you, than being up on stage.
And you wrote for the Cleveland show?
I did write a spec script for Cleveland show, yes.
Wow.
And I still know him, but I know a guy who was episode director for Cleveland. He works on Family Guy now, and they really enjoyed the script. I got some good feedback from Fox, but of course, then they cancelled the show, which was.
Did you say they cancel it?
Huh?
They cancel it? Is that what you said?
Oh God, they can't. Yeah, Cleveland show cancelled. I mean, it's still doing the reruns on Hulu and what have you. It's
Well, Fox cancels every show, even except for The Simpsons. Fox inevitably cancels all their shows, even the success.
Well, they cancelled Family Guy, I think, 2, maybe 3
Twice.
times, and then they brought it back. But
Yeah.
you never know. Cleveland might come back. I was a big fan of Cleveland.
Right. So you've got a lot of pans in the fire, but are you still running Hellbound books as well?
I run. Hellbound Books is a publishing company that I own and run with ex-Dina Marie. We've been going for, I think it's our 5th year now. We've got over 100 titles published, 50 odd audio books, etc. And we published some of the some big names. There we are. We published some big names: Jack Ketchum, Diane Smith, Ramsey Campbell, Graham Masterton. So we're gaining ground. It's something. There you go. There's Bud's. You can see the new cover there.
Now the Sal is it Ken Jimmy?
Kanjimi, yes.
This one is getting a lot of it's getting a lot of word of mouth right now.
It's really good. We actually had Sal on our podcast.
Look at this. This cover of Bud's is beautiful. It's so much better than your original cover.
Yeah.
Oh my God, man. Yeah.
We had the same artist he's done all of my new covers, so the theme carries through. Because before it was my books were published through different publishers, but now they're all under one umbrella.
Now, this is a unique title here: The Strange Adventures of Turquoise Moonwolf. I love that name.
Yeah, Jerry R. Gray is brilliant. Again, it's very whimsical, very bizarro. I mean, she's got a tremendous imagination. She was one of the first authors that we brought on Hellbound books with the Amnesia Girl. I remember reading the first time I read that, blew me away. It was just so refreshingly different and new, which is something that we always look for. You'll not find we don't do, we try not to do the same old, Right.
So there's a human ferret in this book, and also flesh-eating hippies.
Mm-hmm.
That's a nice little synopsis you got there. Yeah, it's
twins.
We got conjoined twins again. What do you know? Conjoined twins in this book too.
Yeah, that total coincidence.
I am Joe's unwanted penis and feeder. That's nasty. But you wrote that?
Yes, I did. Joe's again. That was the double bill. I've actually split those into separate novellas now. Again, you've caught me in the middle of. We're just about to relaunch all my titles through Hellbound.
Oh, wow.
I'm Joe's. I don't know if you guys ever read the old Reader's Digest. There's a whole series of I Am Joe's, and then they would describe either the heart or stomach or whatever body part as from the point of view of the body part. And this is Joe's unwanted penis. It's a penis that was removed as part of a sex change operation.
Well,
and he reunites with the body.
So that's where that thing in Fight Club came from.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, most of us are from that Fight Club generation. Where with Polonic and everything, and so I guess he must have hijacked that from old Reader's Digest when he was doing his critique of American bourgeois society, right? He just made it like I Am Jack's disappointed life and this and that. He was riffing on Reader's Digest, right?
I guess so. Yeah. I mean, I grew up reading them. We used to have them around the house. I don't know where my parents got them from because they never bought them. Probably stole them from dentist office or something. But,
my grandparents had those too. They were all over the fucking place.
Yeah,
90% sure they did not have a subscription or anything.
It's probably that sparked my interest in biology. I went on to study zoology at university. So that's what really got me into it. Fascinating. So they always used to have stories about people in accidents, and it was all pretty gruesome stuff actually, but I used to love it.
let's download this real fast. Well, maybe I will later. But yeah, I see that you're talking. They're talking about Hellbound books on a Bazong episode here, and apparently there's a forward from Jimmy Pudge with this Devil's Gunt by Gerald Dean
again,
Roberts.
it's a great Bizarro story.
Look, yeah, it looks like it. A Gunt is like it's like a front fold of flesh that looks like a gunt, basically, right?
Yeah,
and fat people have them, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Weren't you showing off one of those earlier today or early in this program?
So he was showing off his mouth, stomach, vagina.
I don't have a gut. I have a. I don't know. It's not a gunt though. It's not big enough to be a gunt. Maybe it's a keg, but that's it.
Yeah.
But you're showing off some kind of a.
Oh, okay, yeah. It looks like a second mouth. Yeah.
Yeah.
I sleepwalked into the bookshelf. It was painful. Yeah. But
I'm actually going to be reviewing that Sal Calgini book for Babu 691.
The demon,
I haven't started it.
Waiter, and the douche.
Yeah, I haven't started it yet, but I'm going to start it later this month.
Yeah, so this is the character that stirs up all the trouble in the apartment complex, right? That's the demon.
Yeah, he's a big fluffy demon. It's like, that was like exactly as Sal had written the guy. And it looks more like that Jim Henson would create. But, yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's getting a lot of word of mouth right now. Frank's pushed it a lot and seems to be pretty fond of it. Let's see what's going on over in horror for Hellbound books. That looks like a nice little suspense thing. We got Buds, which I highly recommend anybody. Tenebrion, Satan Rides Your Daughter. That's a great title. That's an anthology.
Yeah, that was an anthology, and that was obviously a homage to the Dennis Wheatley books that we all knew and loved. I remember reading those back in the 70s and watching the Dennis Wheatley, the movies late on Saturday night. So yeah, that was all the stories are sort of Satan and demon and hell based, which is it's a good anthology, actually, one of my favorites.
Man Eating Fucks the Legacy. I like that. It's got like a hellhound. Wow. So yeah, you've got a nice operation here. It's definitely grown from what I remember 2 years ago when you were doing the Jack Ketchum anthology, and a lot of people chose to get outraged about something. What you chose as the table of contents, like they deserve to just step in and undermine everything. They could do their own Jack Ketchum anthology. In fact, they did, and that's probably why they got so outraged. Is because you were doing one, and they were worried it was going to step on their feet, right?
Well, we found over the. We've seen publishers come, we've seen them go. A lot that were around when we started in 2016 are no longer around. We've survived pretty much by staying away from drama. So we would walk away from it and go do something else. And as you can see, we've got a hell of a back catalogue. Got some good stuff going on. We've got a great reputation in the industry. So we do work with some great people. Funnily, we had Richard Chismar on our podcast the week before last. He actually wrote the foreword to my short story collection. Bless him. So yeah, we just stay away from the bullshit and.
Exactly. Yeah.
We still go. We're going from strength to strength, which is phenomenal. I'm really proud of what we've achieved.
Now, Eddie Generous is another talent that's up and coming, and he's releasing something new every time I turn around. His first book that I recall seeing was the one about the prison escapees, and they have to run through this treacherous territory where there's like giant apes or monsters or something. Radio Run, I think it's called.
I'm not familiar with that one.
Yeah, but I've seen that name around quite a bit, and I remember back on your website's bibliography, you also were published in Rejected for Content 4. I had a story in the first Rejected for Content, no big deal. Honestly,
oh, really? Yeah.
probably should have been rejected from there too. But I appreciated him giving me that nod of approval.
I can't remember which story I had in that, but it had genuinely been rejected by somebody or by a couple actually for being too. And I wish I could remember which one it was now, but it was pretty gross. If it got in there, it must have been pretty gross.
Yeah. How has this bullshit pandemic slowed down publishing? Are people reading more than ever, or are they just not prioritizing it even now?
No, we found it's pretty much business as usual. People have more time. I guess last year sales wise was very good because I guess people are at home and finally run out of Netflix and so they turn to reading. So it's been good. I'm not saying the pandemic's been a good thing for us. I say businesses, luckily, we've been lucky. It's not it's not dropped.
I'm telling you, this is the best thing you've ever written right here, though. I don't hesitate to say that. It's really great shit, and I could picture it cinematically from beginning to end. And I mean, yeah, man, it really chilled me. That ending really chilled me. The way you described how things were the realization was finally hitting Guidry, the main character, of what his invention had wrought on humanity. I mean, it's really chilling the way you painted that scene where it hit home to him finally, But yeah, I mean, that's wild. I mean, it's really interesting how you chose a second in the past for these creatures to hide in. I didn't quite understand it, but in a weird way, it made sense too.
Yeah, it's very Lovecraftian. I'm a big Lovecraft fan, and what I like about his work is it appears, and it's been in a few of my stories. It's just that idea of just behind the thin veneer of our reality lies another one, and that's, I guess, where the idea came from. But rather than being a physical veneer, it was time. Mm. So that's where, it's my, again, I guess, influenced by Lovecraft.
So we see where you've been in the past and all these great up and coming talents and established talents that you're working with. What are you working? Huh?
I was just gonna say we had a question from Frank in the chat. He would like to know why you're only doing novel-length submissions at the moment and passing on novellas.
Simply, it's a financial decision. A novella costs us about the same to produce as a novel, and we found novella sales have really dropped off this past few years.
What would you say qualifies a novella? Would it be 30,000 words, 60,000 words?
For novellas, 35,000.
And a novel would be what, like
60,000, 60, 65 upwards.
Anything? Okay.
Yeah.
So
we even tried clumping novellas together with our Untitled series, and again, it didn't really gain traction, unfortunately. So we decided to give novellas a rest for now.
Yeah, collections don't seem to do very well either, which is
off the collection. We have one exception to that, which is David Owen Hughes. We stopped doing collections year before last for this very reason. But Dave, his collections sell. He writes some terrific stuff. So
Dave who?
David Owen Hughes.
Oh, okay.
He wrote the Man Eating Fucks, The Legacy, and the other two, which that was the third in the trilogy. His short story collections sell, so which is great.
That reminds me of like something I would see in the library at school in 8th grade, with minus the title. That's of like course, But otherwise, it reminds me of something that I would see in the school library that the librarian doesn't even know is there or something.
Yeah.
It is very reminiscent of like a paperback boom style covers.
Mm. Well, who else works with you in putting out these kick-ass releases? Who is your rest of your staff?
Oh, well, we have Xtina Marie, who's been actually my business partner, so she's co-owner of the company. A whole list of people. We have Teresa Scott Matthews is one of our editors. We have a PR department headed up by Chris Roy.
You have a PR department.
Well, we what's the word? Subcontract our PR.
Wow.
We have a company who we've just Jerry R. Gray actually has just come on board. She's actually running Instagram and Facebook. Chris does Twitter and no. Anyway, between the two of them, they cover out. They do our social media, etc. We use freelance editors. We've got sort of 3 or 4 regular freelance editors. A lot of stuff we do is on a contract basis rather than having, which is so we're not, we pay people for the work rather than just paying out salary. It works anyway. So
wow. Well, what are some other challenges you've experienced, in getting over the hurdle of publishing and entrenching yourself the last few years, aside from obviously the drama with certain anthologies and whatnot? What about just like overhead, making overhead and everything? I mean, have you had to take out make drastic measures in order to keep things going? And you don't have to get real detailed. I'm just wondering.
No, that's a good question. Not at all. No, I mean, I'm a businessman as well as a writer. I have a background in business, sales, marketing, and I've run my own companies before. So, Hellbound Books was profitable from day one. I mean, it's not, I'm not a multimillionaire by any means, but, I would never run a business that wasn't profitable. Everybody gets paid. The editors, the artists, the PR people, the authors, royalties are paid out, etc., etc., etc. We pride ourselves on that. Again, that's one reputation. If you get that in the independent industry, you're dead in the water. The minute we've had a couple of people have accused us before, and that's the big thing. Oh, they don't pay, and they've been dealt with. So yeah, we have, we're building. It's not something. It would have been nice if we'd have been a multi-million-dollar company from day one, but of course life isn't like that. But we're building, the reputation is building, and as I say, word of mouth, and we are attracting some big names now. These things take time. We're in our 5th year, and we're pretty much where I want us to be in our 5th year. Even allowing for a pandemic, which of course nobody could have ever predicted that back in 2019. Nobody would have thought, 2020, let's pencil that in the business plan.
You know what? This sounds fascinating right here. The Other Side of the Mirror.
That is a tremendous book. It's dark. It's not particularly horror, but it's a good dark thriller. It's brilliant. Lex is a very, very talented writer. And he's British as well, so there you go.
Are you doing any are you doing any submission calls currently for anthologies or collections?
Yeah, we've got. If you check out our website, if you don't have it on your screen thing there, check out our website. We've got 5 or 6. We put the calls out in January. We've got. I have to try and remember them now. We've got Toilet Zone, the 3rd in the Toilet Zone series, which has been incredibly well received. If you look at their current stuff, there we go. So we've got a good spread. We've got a good spread. Dates from Hell was one that was inspired by. I've been sort of getting back on. If you click on read more, it'll take you to the actual page. You can see them, which actually was inspired by my foray into getting back into the dating world. Madame Gray. That's Jerry who did Madame Gray's Creep Show, which again was incredibly well received. We've got a nice spread. We try to make a nice spread. Roadkill. This will be our third third time out in the Roadkill series, which is again very big here in Texas. We were actually approached by E.R. Bills and Brett McCormick 3 years ago now to take on the publication of those. So we try to make sure there's a good spread. We've got, I said, the date thing. Monsters, because I love monsters, and that's monsters. We're getting some tremendous submissions in for that. And just monsters. We try to keep it loose. We don't, not too dictatorial.
Mm-hmm.
Monster it could be a werewolf, a vampire. It could be Frankenstein's monster. Or it could be, the couple next door who, butcher Girl Scouts. So
it's great when somebody nails an archetypal monster, just right, or I bring something new to them. But what I love more than anything is when they are able to create a whole new monster. There's no past reference. Hey, Neil, we're here with our first guest, James Longmore. I don't know if you're familiar with Hellbound books, but they're doing some great stuff. And I think his book Buds is the best thing he's ever written. So
that's fantastic.
You ever heard of it?
I'm not as familiar with it as I'd like to be.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, this guy here is a horror veteran through and through. By the way, Gregor, did you have any questions as of right now?
You guys have already covered the detached penis piece. That was what I was really wanting to talk about.
Well, are you working on anything right now, fiction wise? Though you've talked about the releases coming up, but is there anything that you're kind of playing close to your chest, but that you might want to open up about?
I have a novel that I've been working on a while, and it's in the final edit, to be honest. Like I say, because I sort of got sidetracked with life and with my ghostwriting career, but it's frustrating for me because I need to spend, if I could just take a month out and just get it finished. And it's based on a short story that it's actually my collection, based in it's a group of old people in a memory care facility, investigating mysterious and brutal deaths of their fellow inmates. But I fell in love with the characters, and a bunch of people said, you really got to expand on this and do more with them. So yeah, again, I say I just need to find the time to get it finished and get it. I would like to say it's going to be out this year. I'm going to stick my neck out and say it'll be out this year.
I see this public reading here you did. It's so great when you can get a local writer group together from all these different backgrounds and tastes, and can get along with each other and perform your work in an open setting. I mean, I used to get so much inspiration out of that. That's probably when I was best at my own writing. But yeah, man, eventually it seems like every writer group grows apart because of extenuating circumstances, related to just real life, insists on being, ruining that for you. But if you could find
the group you see there, because that was for the Texas Roadkill, and because it's Texas, okay, Texas is fucking huge, but we managed to get a bunch of people together, which was great. And I'd say I must admit I missed out on the last one again because I just didn't have time to contribute. But I'm hoping to get into this year's. But it's nice to actually meet some fellow writers.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice to meet fellow writers. There's not that many of us, in one place.
Yeah. So we have the submissions page here. We talked to a lot of kick-ass, publishers who are welcoming of authors, with that are write socially unacceptable material. So there's a bunch of submission calls, open anthologies, and you're accepting at least 50,000 word minimum on novels.
I would say let's say 60, to be honest.
60 to 120,000 words. Okay.
Yeah. 50 is still a bit thin.
Yeah. And a 250 word synopsis if they're submitting. So in the first 50 pages. Okay. So yeah, you've got a good sound game plan here. And I want to thank you for lending your time to come on here tonight.
Well, thank you for inviting me on. It's been fun.
Is there anything you would like to cover that we might have missed or?
No, you've been very thorough. No, it's been. Thank you for the opportunity. It's been great fun. Well, we'll have to bring you on our show. I'll get Christina to book you on our show. Yeah, if you fancy a go.
All right, excellent. And, Ben and Gregor, they might enjoy that even more. But they actually have books out. I don't have. I have a few short stories. Ben and Gregor actually have actual books out, so they may be better for that. But as a host, I'll come on. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, we don't just have authors. We have people from different genres. We have audiobook narrators. You name it. We have a whole wide range. So it'd be lovely to have you on.
And what's the name of that program?
It's the New Panic Room.
Okay.
The link is actually on if you go to the homepage of our website, the link is on there. On the homepage.
Your homepage?
No, just click on
Hellbound Books.
the logo at the top, and it's on the front. That'll take you to the homepage. If you scroll down, it says "Fun." There you go. It's there on the right. It's all archived on Vimeo, and there's a website. And on the website, we update that each week with a direct link to that show. We go out on Thursdays, 9:30 Central Time. So yeah, tune in. It's fun. We have some terrific guests.
Very good. Thank you.
It's not one of those shows that only go 45 minutes and then it's like as soon as you hit start, it's almost already over. I hate those shows. I love it. You got an hour.
Well, we do 90 minutes. We do 2 45-minute segments, which is fine. It's just long enough. It's good.
Hour and a half is a good time to shoot for. That's enough time to get vested.
It keeps it.
Yeah.
We used to do 2 hours and it used to drag on a bit, but it keeps it tight and it's good. It's fun. We have fun.
Oh, you talked to William Malmborg on here, huh? Malmborg. Oh, he's great. Man. He's been around forever too. I remember reading Jimmy, and it was and text message. He wrote some good stuff too. Do you know him? Were you there? Do you know him?
I have no idea who you're talking about.
I could tell by the way. But apparently he was on your show here, and
we have a lot. My Christina, my business, but it's her baby. I just turn up on the night. So,
James, it's been a pleasure, and I'm going to plan on finishing up Tenebron in the next 2 days, and I'll let you know what I thought. But I'm enjoying it so far. But man, I really think that you got to get Idri out of that nightmare realm he's in.
Okay, duly noted. I will put him on the list.
Maybe a second in the future we'll fix things. I don't know.
Well, we shall see. I say, if I get the time, I would love to go back and see if we can dig him out of the hole he's made.
Well, thank you, sir.
Yeah, nice meeting you.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks a lot.
Yes, thanks for coming.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, seriously, he's got the goods when it comes to fiction. So Neil,